But if we can, when we can, we'll make these services available to watch anytime. But it means so much to have you here live. Good morning, everybody. As I said, it's so good to see you all here, and thanks for joining us in this, what will at least temporarily be our house of faith, our mode of worship. This is how we gather, and so grateful that you're here. I want to say a few things to get us oriented before we get started with our service this morning. First, for the worship service, you'll be muted throughout our time together. But there are lots of other ways to have conversations with one another outside this space. I'd invite you to check two places. First, look at your email from late last week. It has links to various ways to communicate, including VUU's Slack account, which is just a platform for chatting with one another, and there are ways to organize it so that you can chat about different topics on different threads. Again, our email has instructions on getting connected there. Also, please check VUU's Facebook page and go to the events tab for several offerings from the staff and me throughout the week. Katie's going to offer music, Marcy's going to offer some activities and stories for kids, and I'll be checking in with you all a couple times throughout the week. So make sure and check those things out. Now, about this platform in particular, Zoom. There are two different views on this platform, two different ways of looking at the screen. One is called gallery view, and then there's speaker view. I would encourage you, if you know how, to switch over to speaker view so that whoever's speaking will pop up in your screen and you won't have to go looking for them. They'll sort of pop up big on your screen if you switch to speaker view. If you don't know how to do that and you're worried you might close your connection to this meeting, don't worry about it. You'll still hear everything else everybody else hears. And finally, when Katie is singing and when we're doing a shared reading together, the words will appear on your screen. We are going to learn things as we do this. Sometimes we're going to learn them the hard way. We will make mistakes. My only hope is that our mistakes are hilarious, like the minister who last week accidentally delivered an hour-long Zoom service with a googly eyes filter on. I hope we can make some mistakes like that brighten your day. Who couldn't use a laugh right now? All right, let's settle in and begin our worship service. I'll begin with these words. In this time of physical distancing but social connection, we gather to connect to one another. We need one another, and we need principles to guide us. In the service, may we be reminded of our core values, that every person has worth and dignity, that we're all connected to one another and to all forms of life, and that even in these times, we can act in ways that make the world a better place. Come, let us worship together. Would invite you, if you have a candle nearby, or if you have a chalice that you use at home, to grab that and grab something to light it with. And as we light our chalices together, let's read these words in unison. I invite you to read them aloud where you are. We kindle this flame, symbol of our faith, for the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of love which calls us to work for justice. I'm now going to invite Barbara Face, who is a worship associate and today represents the very important voice of the laity in our worship services, to offer a welcome. Barbara.
Thank you, Reverend Andy, and good morning. Welcome to Valley Unitarian Universalist Congregation and our first live stream service. As Reverend Andy said, my name is Barbara, and I'm worship associate for today's service. And oddly, a little nervous. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It is really wonderful to connect with each other soulfully to nourish our spirits. And no matter where you are on your spiritual journey, we bid you welcome. Interestingly, it seems to me that with this method of connecting with each other, the differences that may exist between us are mostly not even visible. Perhaps we can hold on to this leveler when we move back into the world. For anyone who is new to Valley Unitarian Universalist and joining us for the first time today, we're glad you're here, and we invite you to get to know us now and also in the future. Today, Reverend Andy's sermon is about staying awake in isolation and learning the lessons of this time. And our theme for the month is forgiveness. And I confess that the vision I have in my mind about forgiveness has been influenced by Hollywood movies. Maybe some of you can relate to that. You know, in Hollywood films, when one character forgives another character, it happens in a big way, big music that peaks, etc. One character may be dying or wounded or down on their luck or somehow off their game, and the act of asking for forgiveness changes everything. The character asking for forgiveness may be a scoundrel and unreliable, but as a result of the act of asking for forgiveness, their reprehensible past is wiped away. The message is just wait until you're dying, confess everything, and ask for forgiveness, and you're good to go. Most often, the focus is on the character who is asking for forgiveness, not the other way around. So this shallow version of asking for forgiveness and the subsequent promise of redemption is the underpinning of these Hollywood fairy tales. But I disagree with that format. Those films have the focus on the wrong side, I think, because sometimes it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to forgive. In that Hollywood format, when the focus is on the asker, we lose sight of the forgiver. In some cases, the unforgiving forgiver is even demonized or somehow negatively judged. There seems to be a tacit understanding that when someone asks for forgiveness, the other must accept or be forever damned. But the 12 steps addiction theory is concerned about how the guilt one carries around can impede recovery. The idea is that one can't move forward if held back by guilt and regret. And the wisdom of making amends is covered in 2 of those 12 steps. And in the first of those 2 amendment steps, one becomes willing to accept the damage done to others. But then in the second one, one makes amends. And the step about making amends includes an important caveat, which is accept when to do so would injure them or others. And for me, that awareness is key to understanding the whole act of forgiveness. sometimes asking for forgiveness is the wrong or even selfish thing to do. A friend of mine calls my theory the gospel of the bad news, because I believe that sometimes the wisdom and the heart of forgiveness is to keep silent and find another way to heal the wound you caused. Forgiveness surely is a deep meditation, and we've only just cracked the surface. Blessed be.
Now, let us sing together. Katie's going to lead us in the song, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come, sing a song with me. Come, sing a song with me. Come, sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come, dream a dream with me. Come, dream a dream with me. Come, dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. Hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come, walk in rain with me. Come, walk in rain with me. Come, walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come, share a rose with me. Come, share a rose with me. Come, share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Good morning. I'm going to read a story to you today called The Invisible String. This is a book that reminds us that we are all still connected to each other by an invisible string of love. So it starts with Liza and Jeremy, the twins, who are asleep one calm night in their beds. Suddenly, it begins to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried as they ran to her. "Don't worry, you two. It's just a storm making all that noise. Now go back to bed." "We want to stay close to you," Jeremy said. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know, we're always close together no matter what." "But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." She did like this. "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mommy was holding. "I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string." "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "You don't need to see an invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love. But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there? Asked Liza. You can't see it with your eyes, but you can feel it with your heart, and you can know you're always connected to everyone you love. So when you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug, we feel it in our heart, said Jeremy. Huh. Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string? Liza asked. Sure she does, said Mom. And my best friend Lucy? Asked Liza. Best friends too. Well, how far can that string reach? Anywhere and everywhere. Would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean? Asked Jeremy. Yes, said Mom. Or a mountain climber? Yes, said Mom. How about a ballerina in France? Even there. And a jungle explorer? Yes, even there. How about an astronaut in outer space? Yes, said Mom, even there. And then Jeremy asked quietly, can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian up in heaven? Yes, said Mom, even there. Huh, we're interested. Does the string go away if you're mad at us? Never, said Mom. Love is stronger than anger. As long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. And even when you get older and you can't agree on things like what movie to see, or who gets to ride in the front seat, or what time you go to bed. Said Mom. You two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were fast asleep, even though the storm was still making all the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings that their friends have, and their friends, and their friends, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. From deep inside, they could now see clearly that no one is ever alone. I hope that you all are feeling our invisible strings. Give it a little pull and feel that I'm missing you and that I love you.
Thank you, Marcy. So true that we're all connected. Even in this time, and maybe in this time it becomes even more evident just how connected we really are. Well, this is the time in our worship service when we would receive the offering, and as you might imagine, it's tough to pass the plate in this setting. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about giving. In this difficult time, we're called to take care of ourselves, our families, and our neighbors. For me, and maybe for you, it's sometimes hard to remember that this time will not last forever. Institutions like VUU will be needed after this crisis as we emerge from isolation to reconstruct our lives. If you've lost your job or for some other reason have had a decrease in income because of this crisis, please take care of yourself and let us know how we can help. All of us understand if your giving needs to decrease or stop for now for those reasons. We're here to take care of one another, first and foremost. But if you're still able, please maintain your giving to VUU so that we can emerge strong and ready to take up the work when this is over. And as always, friends, thank you for your generosity. Well, we're going to move now into a time of meditation, a time of prayer, a time to quiet our spirits. So I'd invite you to settle into your chair, to be as comfortable as you can be. And as Katie plays softly, let's take a moment to center ourselves. After a moment of wordless meditation, I'll read UU religious education professional Lynn Unger's poem, Pandemic, which offers a different perspective on this time than we're seeing in the news every day. Please join me in wordless meditation as Katie plays, and then I'll read Lynn's poem. Lynn Unger writes, "What if you thought of it as the Jews consider Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has become clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. May it be so. Amen."
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love. It's the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done and everything I have ever seen, everything I've lost or won, and everything I have ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment, here to a new beginning here. And I'm seeing light life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love. It's the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love. It's the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Get ready, yes, I'm ready in my soul.
Well, thank you, Katie. I am so grateful that y'all have joined us this morning. And I want to say that some folks have made us aware that although we paid to increase our capacity this week, that evidently that didn't kick in when we thought it would. So we'll get that fixed next week. And in the meantime, I'll post this recording on the VUU Facebook page later today so that everybody can access it if they want to. So for the time being, this is how we will gather on Sunday mornings. This and the multiple opportunities throughout the week to engage. Again, go to VUU's Facebook page to the events tab and check out how you can engage with the staff or me every day of the week. We'll have something to offer. Certainly, it is shocking how quickly life has changed. A week and a half ago, I got on a plane and flew to Washington, D.C., wondering if folks weren't overreacting to this thing called COVID-19. Only last Tuesday did I become truly convinced that physical distancing with social connection was necessary. I may have been late to the game. Some of you probably got there sooner, but regardless, we're at the front end of a time of great change and much unknown. Whatever you're feeling, you are not alone in feeling it. I told the worship associates last week that I wasn't going to be talking about COVID-19 every week, and I won't be. Specifically, I won't be lamenting the inaction of our government week after week. We can all tune into the news and get plenty of that if that's what we want. But I do want to talk about life in this unprecedented historical moment. Because I believe that in the middle of all the very real fear and pain, including the pain of isolation for folks who live alone, there's beauty to be found. And there are lessons that we can all learn that might help us come out of this ready to rebuild. So, a few thoughts. First, I believe that accepting our reality is really our only choice right now. Lynn Unger hints at that in her poem, the poem I just read, when she says, "Give up just for now trying to make the world different than it is." The teachers in ancient times told their students that the first step to enlightenment was to accept the world as it is, but we Westerners haven't had to exercise those muscles very often. Now we do. We face something that we haven't faced before, and the only action most of us can take is to stay home and to find a way to help our neighbors. This is not to say that we're wrong to grieve, to be angry, to be sad or lonely. Of course not. We all are. But if we've not accepted our reality, or at least worked to accept it, those feelings might drive us to do something we shouldn't, like attend a large gathering, or arrange an in-person get-together with friends, or go hiking on a crowded trail. It is sad and it is difficult, but we do well to accept this as our temporary reality. And then maybe you and I can begin to notice things we didn't before. I'll tell you that I've always thought of myself as an extreme extrovert. I love shaking hands. I love giving a friend a big hug. I love to attend meetings with lots of people who are working to create justice. All things I'm not supposed to be doing right now. Heather and I were both worried about me being home as much as I am lately. But I'm finding that there are beauties and graces in this time. I expect to have a little more time next week to practice the banjo. About this, my family may not be super happy, but I'm excited. We've also had more time to play games as a family, to take walks together and to talk. We've even had time to connect to our family in Indiana in more significant ways. There is a loveliness in knowing that there's nowhere we have to be. I'm realizing what I've been missing, and as I said to Heather yesterday, I don't want to go back to the way I was behaving, not completely. That doesn't mean I'm grateful for this time, I'm not. But I'm learning lessons from it nonetheless, even finding beauty in the midst of it. Now, you may not be feeling that way at all, and that's okay too. But if you're feeling angry or sad and you're missing friends, this may be a time to learn a new way to be in touch. You may have something to learn, and if you do, there's someone out there to teach you. And right now, there are thousands of people putting up, for example, videos on how to use technology. You all have access to the internet. I know that because we're all here together. And I hope that if you need help figuring out some technology, you'll reach out. Not that I can help you personally. I usually probably can't, but I know people who can. And if you have something you can teach, I hope you'll reach out to help people who are trying their hardest to get up to speed. That leads me to the final thing I want to point out this morning. The human spirit is irrepressible, and I see you all doing amazing things for one another right now, offering meals and grocery shopping. A neighbor of mine did a social distancing concert in his driveway yesterday, and the admission price was canned goods to donate to a local food bank. As my sister-in-law tells her children, we can do hard things. We are doing hard things. Much is about to be required of us, now and in the months and perhaps in the years to come. We don't need to figure it all out now. What we know now is all that we've ever known, really, that we have today. So today, we'll take one more step. We'll sing one more song. We'll pray one more prayer. and we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Dear friends, we are just the people for this time. Keep loving one another. Keep taking one more step. In fact, let's sing that song together now as Katie leads us. One more step.
One more step. We will take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word. We will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer. We will say one more prayer till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song. We will sing one more song till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
Would invite you now to bring close the chalices that you lit earlier. We're going to extinguish them now as we read together our chalice extinguishing words. Though we extinguish the chalice, our connection to each other and this community remains. May its light guide us this week as we walk the path of justice, speak words of love, and fill our world with compassion until we meet again. And now, dear friends, may life bless you and keep you. May the Spirit make its face to shine on you and be gracious unto you. May the universe pour out the fullness of its blessings on you and bring you peace. Go in peace to serve love itself and to serve one another, dear friends. Amen. Be well this week. Take good care. See you on Facebook and Zoom.